Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies, and this is the new B3 Ghost release. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about this release is it's white. Very, very important why it's white, because archers are very picky with colours. It's the biggest thing they're going to choose, bows on colour. And this is why I think this will be a big selling point for the releases. Now, it's a back tension release, which means it doesn't have a trigger, so it's activated by moving your hand around. And why would you want to shoot a back tension release aid? Because you don't know when it's going to shoot. So basically, through twisting your wrist, it's going to activate. So you're always aiming. So if people suffer target panic, they don't know when to punch, or they're punching too early, this is why they shoot back tension. Now, one of the things about B3 Archery and this Ghost is its price point. $203, I think, $208 in Australia, making it one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest, back tension release aid. Now, B3 Archery, I'm just going back, bit of back history, is a Kentucky-based company. They make releases in Kentucky, family-based business, and they were originally the founders of Scott Archery. And you'll see a lot of their release aids look the same as Scott releases. Scott right now is having problems producing releases with anodizing. B3 does not seem to have the same issues. They seem to have the releases on tap, and they seem to be available, and they seem to be of good quality, and the pricing seems to be pretty good. So this is the Ghost. It looks very similar to the B3 Coupe, except for color difference. The B3 Coupe comes in chameleon, bronze, and alloy. So this is basically a little bit cheaper. You're talking about $15 cheaper, but it comes in white. Now, you're going to say, why are you interested in this release aid? Because I have a white bow, and I think it will look pretty cool. Now, I'm very happy with the release aid I'm shooting at the moment, and there's a lot of good back tension release aids in the market. But archers tend to have a bit of a fetish for releases. As last night, one of my friends on Facebook sent me through a photo of all the release aids he has, and I sent him a message, and I said, does your wife know? And I'm sure she doesn't know how much he spent on those releases, because he had so many releases, and it's more than common in archery for guys to have heaps of releases. And if you're into archery and you own a white bow, or you want to buy a white bow, then you're probably going to be interested in this just to color coordinate. And some of you are going to say that's ridiculous, and I'm going to say it's literally what you have to deal with. People want things to look good, and like girls want to have nice hair, guys want to have matching color bows. So this is the release aid here. It's like a powder coat finish on it. It looks to me like the Scott Longhorn. It's the paint's not smooth. It's like a rough kind of paint. It's I'm just going to show you what's in the package. So the package is in the back. That's interesting. So it's got the little rubber bands, and I see it on forums all the time. What happens when this rubber band breaks? I shoot mine without a rubber band at the moment. So I'm shooting a Scott Ascent. And you can see I don't have a rubber band. You can see it's broken on the back. I've never bothered to fix it. I have fixed them on other people, and I sort of thread through a cord to do that, like a bit of rope to pull it through. But it comes with spares. Heat shrink, don't know what that's for. Now, the way these work is basically this release will activate when it hits that point there. Now, it will be set on a click. There's a click there, and then it shoots. I tend to flinch on the click. When I hear the click, I tend to jerk. Now, on the Scott Longhorn, it's locked in from the bottom. It's not the case on the B3. You can see on the B3, you've got a lock-in screw there, and one on the back, which you've got to loose. Now, this does not come with Allen keys, so you're going to need Allen keys to do it. Now, so to adjust when it goes off, you need to loosen off both those Allen keys, and you move this backwards or forwards. Now, do it a little bit at a time to sort of see where it feels comfortable. Now, I'm going to change this to non-click, And the way I do that is this stainless steel thing here, I'm going to switch it around. And the way I'm going to do that, without reading the instructions, I've got to loosen off these 2 screws, there and there, because that will make this silver thing loose. And then I'm going to need a little screwdriver there to loosen this off, and that head will come off, and I'll simply switch that around. Now when you're adjusting a back tension release aid, make sure it's not going to fire before you want it to. So with this, so I draw it back like that, it's going to fire. This is pretty, it feels pretty hot, so always be close to the target when you sort of shoot, because let's say you misfire, you want it to still hit the target. So before doing anything, what we're going to do is have a shot. To see how this feels in the hand. I like the head, how the head sort of comes in on an angle. Looks kind of nice. Now for me that was a little bit too long, so it took me a little bit too long to get it off, and you can see I flinched at the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust this to turn the click off. The release aid felt comfortable in my hand. This is obviously, the end here is a little bit wider than the Scott Ascent. Like I said, it feels the same as a Scott Longhorn. It felt easy to get off, felt fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this, and then we're going to take some shots and see how I conclude whether I want to change or not to the new B3 Ghost. Okay, so back from fixing up the Ghost. So my major problem was I needed to get a little screwdriver for that. Now all my tools were at the shop and I didn't have a little screwdriver here, so I'm like, what do I do? Bring out the Swift's Army knife. That fits perfectly into that there. So basically what I did was I loosened off the 2 screws there and there using this Allen key. That is size 1/16, so I had to find an Allen key set. That then loosened off this, so it allowed this silver thing here to swing freely. I then unscrewed this, rotated the silver thing and put it back in. Probably took me about, I did put the head on back to front. I was watching a movie at the time. It probably took me about 2 minutes to do. It took me about 15 minutes to find the tools. I would say is the easiest release aid to swap from click to non-click that I've ever had to adjust. Now the release aids I've owned, the HT, the True Ball, they can be really fiddly because they have springs and the springs pop off, and sometimes you can lose the springs, and that can take you anywhere from 5 minutes to half an hour, especially if you lose the spring. The TrueFire Sear I had, look, that was a nice release aid, but I lost one of the screws. It kind of came out, and then I like Scott Backspin I really liked, very similar to this, but this is just easy. So I've adjusted it. Now it goes off, so that's how you draw the release back. It will be triggered by that much movement. So let's have a shot and see how it feels. Changing the adjustment on how far it activates is easy with those 2 screws. I just press that down. There's no need for the micro adjustment that you'll see on many of the back tension release aids as far as I'm concerned. Now when I was doing this review, as I get hay fever, I had a coupe in the shop, in the house. Look at the difference. The Ghost is much thicker at the end. So let's just have a shot. Look, that felt pretty good to me. I felt like I wanted to go off, and when I'm drawing it back, I'm like, I want it to go off about now. But it went off a little bit after where I wanted to go, but I'm like, well, maybe I can get used to that. Let's have another shot. Look, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to shoot it just to that setting. I'm just going to have a shot with the coupe. So it's thinner here to compare it. Look, with the wider bit at the end, I'm finding it much easier to control the release. It feels... Now I shoot currently the Scott Ascent, so it's always worth comparing when you're about to change to a different release aid. Wow, you can see how much hotter I've got this set than the Ghost. Now the Scott, to me, is a very comfortable release aid as far as to hold. I'm going to say it feels more comfortable than the Ghost. But this feels comfortable. And I suppose when I'm looking at release aids and switching to a release aid, I'm not expecting a great change. This feels good. I'm feeling, it feels familiar. Look, I really struggle to feel much difference between any of the back tension release aids. I was very happy with shooting the HT from True Bull, and this feels somewhat similar. The fingers are more rounded at the edges. So they're more rounded off here than the HT. It's not that it makes this more comfortable, it just feels nice in my hand. I feel like I can shoot it. I like the look of it. Look, one of the reasons why I will change to the Ghost is it's not that the release aid I feel I'll shoot better with. To me, this is very much like the Scott Longhorn, which I haven't shot before, and it's a release aid that a lot of the top pros use. It's been on the market. This design, this shape, has been on the market for years, and it's been it's a frequent release aid that top archers use, this design. It's bulletproof, they get results. I like the price point because the price, $200, it's not at the expensive end of town, it's at it's the cheapest back tension there is. The peg feels good. Now for me, why do a lot of archers have different release aids? It's because they want to change the feel of their shot. So I used to shoot the backspin, I used to shoot the True Fire Sear. which I'm not shooting anymore because it's lost that little screw. The True-Fire Sear, I used to shoot all these release dates interchangeably because it just changes the whole shot. I suppose it gets rid of that where you're comfortable with the shot. It's making you work harder for the shot. Look, I like the way it looks with the bow, and I know that means really nothing, but it just all matches and I'm pretty happy with it. The quality to me looks great. I'm more comfortable with this than the coupe for some reason. I can't tell you why. The coupe looks more like the Scott Ascent, but the Scott Ascent feels more comfortable on the hand. But this feels more comfortable because it's a bit wider at the end here, and it feels easier to get the shot off because it's wider at the back than with the, I suppose I get more feeling with these back fingers here. I'm definitely more feeling it as I'm taking that shot at the back. It feels more positive for me. It probably doesn't make any sense, but I feel like when you release your fingers with a recurve, it's a positive feeling you're feeling. It's an active feeling. This feels active to me, very much like the backspin felt to me when I used to shoot that. So with that, I'll give this release 8 a try. I suppose you'll see in reviews whether I'm still shooting in 3 or 4 months' time. I definitely want to give a thumb release 8 a go, but I'm more than happy with this Ghost. And yes, I pretty much made up my mind to shoot this before I even tested it. But having tested it, it feels comfortable. The shots feel like they're coming off well. I like the price point because if I change my mind and let's say I want to sell this release 8, I'm not going to lose a lot of money. It's a good quality release 8, which means I'm probably going to keep it for a long time. I like the adjustment. Not real happy with the my negative part would be that little flathead screwdriver, because now it means I need to carry a flathead screwdriver in my toolkit, and I'm not very good with toolkits. Carrying them because I need to be prepared, and I tend not to carry much. I just tend to shoot lots without carrying main tools. But I don't think that screw will come loose. It's a very clever design. I like it. I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. That's the B3 Ghost release 8. Give it a go at your local archery shop. They'll be literally in shops now. Thanks for watching. Bye.